The world watches as tensions escalate between the United States and Iran. The air is thick with uncertainty, and the stakes have never been higher. On March 7, 2025, President Donald Trump issued a stark warning to the Islamic Republic. His message was clear and uncompromising. Comply with my demands within 2 months or face severe consequences. The ultimatum was delivered with a tone that left little room for negotiation. This ultimatum, delivered with Trump's signature bluntness, has sent shockwaves through the international community. Leaders around the world are scrambling to respond. It raises the specter of renewed conflict in the volatile Middle East. The region, already fraught with tension, now faces the possibility of further destabilization. At the heart of the ultimatum lies the issue of Iran's nuclear ambitions. The international community has long been wary of Tehran's intentions. The Trump administration, along with several Western allies, remains convinced that Tehran is actively pursuing nuclear weapons capability. This belief has been a cornerstone of their foreign policy. Iran vehemently denies these accusations, insisting its nuclear program is solely for peaceful energy purposes. They argue that their intentions are misunderstood and misrepresented. Despite these assurances, the international community remains deeply suspicious. The shadow of doubt looms large over every diplomatic discussion. Adding fuel to the fire is Iran's support for regional proxies, particularly the Houthi rebels in Yemen. This involvement has only heightened tensions. The U.S. accuses Iran of arming and funding the Houthis, who have been locked in a devastating civil war with a Saudi-led coalition. This conflict has drawn in multiple nations, complicating the situation further. The conflict has created a humanitarian catastrophe, further destabilizing an already volatile region. The human cost is staggering, with countless lives disrupted. Trump's ultimatum represents a high-stakes gamble. The world watches closely, aware that the outcome could reshape global politics. It remains unclear whether Iran will bow to pressure or respond with defiance, potentially leading to a dangerous escalation. The next few months will be critical. The world holds its breath, waiting to see how this latest chapter in the long and tumultuous history between the U.S. and Iran will unfold. The stakes are high, and the consequences could be far-reaching. The current standoff between Washington and Tehran is the culmination of decades of mistrust and hostility. This complex relationship has been shaped by a series of events that have left deep scars on both sides. To fully grasp the gravity of Trump's ultimatum, one must delve into the historical context of this intricate and often tumultuous relationship. It's a story marked by missed opportunities, broken promises, and a deep-seated animosity that has permeated both societies over the years. The 1979 Iranian Revolution, which overthrew the US-backed Shah and ushered in the Islamic Republic, remains a pivotal moment. This revolution fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. It sowed the seeds of distrust that continue to plague relations today. The subsequent hostage crisis, where 52 American diplomats and citizens were held captive for 444 days, further deepened the chasm between the two nations. Attempts at reconciliation have been sporadic and largely unsuccessful. The 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal, offered a glimmer of hope. This landmark agreement, brokered by the Obama administration, saw Iran agree to curb its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. It was a significant diplomatic achievement that aimed to bring stability to the region. However, Trump's decision to unilaterally withdraw from the JCPOA in 2018 dealt a significant blow to diplomatic efforts. This move was met with widespread criticism from the international community. Since withdrawing from the nuclear deal, the Trump administration has pursued a policy of maximum pressure against Iran. This approach relies heavily on crippling economic sanctions aimed at forcing Iran back to the negotiating table. Instead of capitulating, Iran has responded with defiance, resuming some of its nuclear activities and engaging in provocative actions in the region. This has led to increased tensions and a heightened risk of conflict. The cycle of mistrust and retaliation continues to this day, with both nations struggling to find common ground. The path to lasting peace and stability remains uncertain as each side grapples with its own set of challenges and priorities. The history of U.S.-Iran relations is a testament to the complexities of international diplomacy. It underscores the importance of dialogue, mutual respect, and a willingness to compromise. As the world watches, the hope for a peaceful resolution remains, but the road ahead is fraught with challenges. Only time will tell if the two nations can overcome their differences and build a more stable and cooperative future. The stakes are high, and the consequences of failure are profound. The international community must continue to support efforts towards diplomacy and peaceful negotiation. In the end, the lessons of the past must guide the actions of the present as both nations navigate the complexities of their relationship in an ever-changing world. The hope for a brighter future lies in the willingness of both sides to engage in meaningful dialogue and to seek common ground, despite the challenges that lie ahead. The journey towards reconciliation is long and arduous, but it is a journey worth undertaking for the sake of regional and global stability. As history has shown, the path to peace is never easy, but with perseverance and a commitment to dialogue, it is possible to overcome even the deepest of divides. The future of US-Iran relations hangs in the balance, and the actions taken today will shape the course of history for generations to come. The world watches with bated breath, hoping for a resolution that will bring lasting peace and stability to a region long plagued by conflict and strife. The stakes could not be higher, and the need for a diplomatic solution has never been more urgent. As both nations navigate this critical juncture, the hope for a brighter future remains, but it will require courage, wisdom, and a genuine commitment to peace. The world is watching, and the decisions made today will echo through history, shaping the destiny of nations and the lives of millions. The journey towards peace is fraught with challenges, but it is a journey that must be undertaken for the sake of future generations. President Trump's ultimatum to Iran centers around two fundamental demands. These demands are seen as non-negotiable, and are intended to curb what the administration views as Iran's destabilizing activities in the region. Firstly, Tehran must cease all support for the Houthi rebels in Yemen. This includes financial aid, military supplies, and any form of logistical support that could prolong the conflict. This demand reflects the Trump administration's commitment to its Gulf allies, particularly Saudi Arabia, who are deeply embroiled in the Yemeni conflict. The U.S. sees this as a way to stabilize the region and reduce Iranian influence. The U.S. accuses Iran of prolonging the war by supplying the Houthis with advanced weaponry, including ballistic missiles. These weapons have been used to target Saudi territories, escalating tensions and causing significant casualties. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, Trump demands that Iran completely abandon its nuclear program. This demand is rooted in the fear that Iran's nuclear capabilities could lead to the development of nuclear weapons. This includes halting uranium enrichment, dismantling its centrifuges, and submitting to rigorous international inspections. The goal is to ensure that Iran's nuclear activities are purely peaceful and transparent. The Trump administration argues that anything short of complete nuclear disarmament would leave Iran on the brink of developing nuclear weapons. This is seen as an unacceptable risk to global security. The potential consequences for non-compliance are severe. Trump has made it clear that failure to meet these demands will result in significant repercussions. Trump has vowed to unleash the full force of American military might against Iran if it fails to meet his demands within the 2-month deadline. This includes a range of military options that could be deployed swiftly. While the exact nature of a military response remains unclear, Trump has hinted at the possibility of obliterating Iran. This has raised concerns about the potential for a large-scale conflict. Such rhetoric has alarmed many observers who fear the catastrophic consequences of a full-blown war between the United States and Iran. The international community is watching closely, hoping for a peaceful resolution to avoid further escalation. Iran has met Trump's ultimatum with a mixture of defiance and indignation. Iranian officials, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, have categorically rejected Trump's demands, viewing them as a blatant infringement on Iranian sovereignty. They argue that Iran has an inalienable right to develop its nuclear program for peaceful purposes, and to pursue its own foreign policy objectives in the region. Tehran has accused the United States of hypocrisy, pointing to Washington's own vast nuclear arsenal and its unwavering support for Israel, the only country in the Middle East believed to possess nuclear weapons. Iranian officials have also dismissed the possibility of negotiating under duress, insisting that they will not be bullied into submission by threats or ultimatums. Adding to the tension, Iran initially denied receiving any formal letter from Trump outlining his demands. This claim, while disputed by U.S. officials, highlights the deep mistrust and communication breakdown between the two countries. It also raises concerns about the potential for miscalculation and escalation, as each side interprets the other's actions and intentions through the lens of suspicion and hostility.